There are individuals who are not merely chosen but strategically positioned, whose lives disturb comfort, expose systems, and summon resistance without saying a word. Their journey is misunderstood, their path pressured, and their presence often challenged, not because they are wrong, but because they are dangerously aligned with purpose. This kind of anointing does not announce itself with noise. It reveals itself through weight, warfare, and responsibility. If your life seems too contested for it to be ordinary, too resisted to be accidental, and too burdened to be casual, understand this truth: heaven does not trouble what it does not trust. You are not walking through chaos. You are being prepared for consequence, marked by opposition, proven by purpose. There is a dangerous misunderstanding in our generation that assumes alignment with God should always be accompanied by applause, acceptance, and ease. Yet history and spiritual law reveal a different reality. Purpose attracts pressure. When a life is genuinely aligned with divine intent, it does not move quietly through systems that disturbs them. Opposition, therefore, is not an interruption of purpose. It is often the confirmation of it. Resistance is the natural response of threatened environments to a life that carries authority beyond its current position. Opposition is evidence that something in you challenges what already exists. Darkness does not waste energy confronting what poses no danger. Mediocrity is ignored. Purpose is confronted. If your obedience consistently places you at odds with popular opinion, entrenched systems, or comfortable traditions, it is not because you are rebellious. It is because you are governed by a higher assignment. You have become incompatible with environments that survive on stagnation, control, or fear. A dangerously anointed life rarely begins with recognition. It begins with isolation. The reason is simple. Before influence can be trusted publicly, character must be forged privately. Opposition strips away the need for validation. It forces you to discover whether you are driven by approval or anchored in purpose. Those who require applause to continue will abandon their assignment at the first sign of resistance. But those who are governed by calling understand that approval is optional. Obedience is not. Opposition also reveals the authenticity of your conviction. When everything around you affirms you, belief is easy. But when obedience costs relationships, comfort, and reputation, conviction becomes visible. Purpose is proven not in agreement, but in adversity. This is why pressure often intensifies when you decide to move forward. Resistance increases when clarity increases. The clearer you become about your assignment, the louder the opposition becomes. This is not coincidence, it is consequence. There is also a strategic reason opposition appears early. Environments sense disruption before people do. Systems recognize threat long before individuals recognize potential. You may not yet have the platform, resources, or visibility to justify the level of resistance you face, but opposition is responding to what you are becoming, not what you currently appear to be. You are being fought for the future you carry, not the present you occupy. Many mistakenly try to silence opposition by shrinking themselves. They dilute their voice, compromise their standards, and reduce their vision in hopes of gaining acceptance. But purpose cannot be downsized without consequence. The moment you attempt to fit into spaces you were designed to reform, you lose authority. You were not sent to blend in. You were sent to stand out. Opposition is the cost of distinction. A dangerously anointed individual must learn to interpret resistance correctly. Not every door that closes is rejection. Some doors close because they cannot contain what you carry. Not every critic is an enemy. Some are indicators that you have touched a nerve of relevance. The mistake is assuming that opposition means you should stop. In reality, opposition often means you should deepen your resolve. There is a difference between opposition caused by immaturity and opposition caused by purpose. Immaturity attracts conflict because it lacks wisdom. Purpose attracts opposition because it carries authority. One produces chaos, the other produces transformation. This is why self-examination is essential. The question is not, am I being opposed, but why am I being opposed? If your life reflects integrity, discipline, and service, then resistance is not a warning, it is a witness. Opposition also functions as a filter. It separates those who are assigned to walk with you from those who are only attracted to your potential. When the cost becomes clear, the uncommitted depart. This is not loss, it is alignment. Purpose does not require crowds, it requires covenant. Those who remain through resistance are often the ones necessary for the next phase of your assignment. A life marked by opposition must be anchored in identity. If you do not know who you are, resistance will define you. But when identity is secure, opposition becomes information, not intimidation. You learn from it without being controlled by it. You gain clarity without losing confidence. You remain teachable without becoming timid. Understand this principle. Great impact always disrupts existing order. Every advance in purpose challenges something already established. That challenge will never be welcomed by what benefits from the current system. If your obedience threatens comfort, convenience, or control, expect resistance. You are not cursed, you are commissioned. Finally, opposition is temporary. Purpose is eternal. Resistance may delay, but it cannot deny what is authorized. What is truly assigned will survive what is strategically opposed. If you remain faithful, disciplined, and submitted to divine order, opposition will eventually become the very platform that announces your purpose. The same pressure meant to stop you will sharpen you. The same resistance meant to silence you will amplify you. So do not fear opposition. Interpret it. It is not a signal to retreat, but a sign to refine. You are not being attacked because you are weak. You are being resisted because you are necessary. When opposition marks your path, let it remind you of this unchanging truth. You are not controversial. You are consequential. Called beyond Corval. You are consequential, called beyond Corval. Trusted with weight. One of the clearest indicators of a dangerously anointed life is an ongoing tension between calling and comfort. Divine purpose rarely negotiates with convenience, it disrupts it. When an individual is entrusted with genuine assignment, their life is pulled beyond personal preference into responsibility. This is because purpose is not about self-fulfillment, it is about stewardship, and stewardship always carries weight. There is a burden that rests on those who are called beyond comfort, a burden not of depression, but of responsibility. You are conscious of more than yourself. Your decisions feel heavier because they affect more than your immediate life. While others are satisfied with survival, you are driven by significance. This internal pressure is not anxiety, it is assignment awareness. You are sensing the demand of something greater than you, something that requires maturity, discipline, and sacrifice. Comfort is attractive because it offers predictability and control. Purpose, however, demands faith, risk, and obedience. Those who are dangerously anointed often find that seasons of ease make them uneasy. Rest is allowed, but stagnation is intolerable. There is a holy dissatisfaction that refuses to let you settle into routines that do not advance your assignment. This unrest is not impatience, it is alignment with progress. Being called beyond comfort means your life will often be misunderstood. People may question why you refuse to settle, why you are not content with what others celebrate, or why you keep pressing forward when rest seems reasonable. What they fail to see is that purpose applies pressure long before results are visible. You are responding to an internal mandate, not external applause. Those entrusted with weight are trained through responsibility early. You may find yourself carrying roles, expectations, or burdens disproportionate to your age, experience, or position. This is not exploitation, it is preparation. Authority is never given without prior responsibility. The weight you carry now is developing the strength you will need later. Heaven does not assign influence to those who have never learned endurance. Comfort also limits capacity. It creates dependence on familiar patterns rather than trust in divine provision. Purpose stretches you because growth requires tension. Just as muscles develop through resistance, capacity is built through pressure. The life called beyond comfort is being expanded to contain more wisdom, more authority, more impact. Without discomfort, expansion is impossible. A dangerously anointed individual must learn to manage the weight they carry. Weight is not meant to crush you, it is meant to condition you. This requires discipline of thought, time, and relationships. You cannot afford careless living when you are carrying consequence. Small compromises become large setbacks when weight is involved. Maturity is not optional, it is required. There is also a loneliness that often accompanies calling beyond comfort. This is not because you are abandoned, but because few are willing to live at the level of responsibility you carry. Comfort attracts crowds, purpose attracts commitment. You may have many acquaintances, but few confidants. This isolation is not punishment, it is protection. Not everyone is qualified to handle the weight you are assigned. Those who are dangerously anointed often experience accelerated pruning. Distractions are removed, relationships are tested, opportunities that look good but do not align are denied. This is because weight requires focus. You cannot carry what you are called to carry while being entangled in what is unnecessary. Purpose simplifies life by eliminating excess. Being trusted with weight also means being held to higher standards. You are corrected more sharply, challenged more deeply, and refined more intensely. This is not rejection, it is investment. What is valuable receives attention. What is common is ignored. If your life feels under constant adjustment, understand this: you are being shaped for precision. There is a temptation, when the weight becomes heavy, to envy those who appear free. But comfort without purpose is empty. Ease without assignment leads to stagnation. The burden you carry is evidence of trust. Heaven does not place weight on what it has not measured. You are carrying what you are capable of becoming, not what you currently are capable of becoming, not what you currently are. Ultimately, being called beyond comfort is an invitation into legacy. Comfort focuses on the present. Purpose invests in the future. You are building something that will outlive you. This requires sacrifice now for impact later. Those who choose comfort will enjoy momentary ease. Those who choose purpose will produce generational consequence. So do not resent the weight. Respect it. It is shaping your posture, strengthening your endurance, and clarifying your priorities. You are not overwhelmed. You are being enlarged. You are not burdened. You are being entrusted. And if your life feels heavier than most, remember this truth: only strong vessels are trusted with great weight. Governed by restraint, clothed with authority. One of the most misunderstood signs of true authority is silence. In a world addicted to reaction, explanation, and constant defense, restraint appears weak. Yet in the economy of purpose, restraint is not the absence of power, it is the evidence of it. Those who are dangerously anointed are not driven by the need to respond to every provocation, clarify every misunderstanding, or win every argument. Their silence is not passivity, it is governance. There comes a stage in a purpose-driven life where you realize that access to words does not equal permission to speak. Maturity teaches discernment, knowing not only what to say, but when to say it, how to say it, and to whom. This discipline separates influence from noise. Anyone can speak. Only those under authority know when to remain silent. Restraint is proof that your emotions are no longer leading your decisions. Dangerous anointing produces an internal filter. You feel the urge to explain yourself, yet something within you restrains you. This restraint is wisdom. Explanation often weakens authority because it places your validation in the hands of others. True authority does not seek permission to exist. When you are governed by purpose, you understand that clarity comes with time, not debate. Silence also protects focus. Every unnecessary response drains energy that should be invested in assignment. The dangerously anointed individual understands that attention is a currency. To engage every distraction is to impoverish your purpose. You cannot afford to give your voice to every opinion when your words are meant to build systems, shift mindsets, and establish legacy. Restraint is especially tested in moments of misunderstanding. When your motives are questioned and your actions misinterpreted, the instinct is to defend. But purpose teaches patience. Those who are governed by calling trust that results will speak louder than rebuttals. Explanation may satisfy curiosity, but fruit confirms legitimacy. Silence allows time to become your advocate. This does not mean you never speak. It means you speak strategically. Words carry weight when they are not wasted. A restrained voice is a respected voice. When you do speak, it lands with authority because it has been measured, not rushed. People listen because they know you do not speak casually. Your silence has trained them to value your words. There is also a spiritual dimension to restraint. Authority is established in alignment, not assertion. You do not need to announce who you are when your life is already demonstrating it. Insecure leaders talk excessively. Secure leaders let structure, order, and consistency reveal their position. Restraint keeps you aligned with divine timing. Speaking too early can sabotage what patience would perfect. Being governed by restraint also protects relationships. Not every truth must be spoken in every season. Wisdom understands that timing can determine whether truth heals or harms. Dangerous anointing carries both power and responsibility. You are accountable not just for what you say, but for the impact of what you say. Silence is often the most loving response. Restraint is forged through experience. Early in life, you may have spoken too quickly and suffered unnecessary consequences. Those moments were not failures, they were lessons. Over time, you learned that reacting does not equal leading. Leadership requires composure, the ability to remain calm, measured, and quiet in tense situations is a sign of internal authority. Chaos feeds on reaction. Order thrives on restraint. Those who lack restraint are easily manipulated. They can be provoked into decisions, statements, or conflicts that derail progress. But when you are governed by purpose, you are no longer predictable to offense. You do not move at the pace of emotion, but at the speed of wisdom. This frustrates opposition because they cannot control you through reaction. Silence also creates space for discernment. When you do not rush to speak, you hear more clearly. You observe patterns, motives, and timing. You gain understanding that reactive individuals miss. This insight positions you to respond effectively when the moment is right. Silence sharpens perception. There is a cost to restraint. It can feel lonely to hold your peace when you know the truth. It can feel unaware to be misunderstood while remaining quiet. But restraint is not denial. It is discipline. You are not ignoring the issue. You are choosing the most effective moment to address it. Purpose is never in a hurry because it knows where it is going. Ultimately, restraint is a sign that you are governed, not driven. Governed by principle, not provocation. Governed by assignment, not anxiety. Governed by authority, not appetite. When your silence speaks louder than your words, it is because your life has become the message. So do not be disturbed by your restraint. Honor it. It is evidence that you have graduated from reaction to responsibility. You are not silent because you are powerless. You are silent because you are precise. And in a world full of noise, the most dangerous voice is the one that speaks only when it matters. Precedes, by the future, you carry one. Of the most confusing experiences for a purpose-driven individual is encountering intense resistance before any visible achievement has been produced. You have not yet built the platform, released the idea, or stepped fully into the role, yet the pressure is already present. This phenomenon reveals a critical truth. You are not being attacked for what you have done, but for what you are destined to do. Opposition often recognizes future impact before present reality does. Purpose exists in seed form long before it manifests in structure. Seeds are small, but they contain forests. In the same way, destiny may appear insignificant at first glance, yet it carries the capacity to disrupt entire systems. Resistance responds to potential, not size. This is why a life that has not yet arrived can still experience disproportionate conflict. What is being challenged is not your current position, but the future influence embedded within you. Opposition at this stage often feels premature and unfair. You may question why you are facing battles you did not initiate, accusations you did not deserve, or barriers you did not create. The answer lies in perception. Environments sense change before they see it. Systems recognize disruption before it becomes visible. You are encountering resistance because your presence signals transition. This form of opposition is prophetic in nature. It sees ahead, it reacts to what will be, not what is. People may not articulate why they are uncomfortable around you, but discomfort is often the first response to emerging authority. Your thinking challenges norms, your questions expose weaknesses, your vision threatens stability. Even in silence, your future speaks. Those attacked for unreleased potential must learn not to personalize the resistance. It is not about you, it is about what you carry. Internalizing this truth is essential because misinterpreting the battle can lead to self-doubt. You may attempt to fix what is not broken, apologize for what you have not done, or suppress what is meant to emerge. Purpose should never be silenced to satisfy insecurity in others. There is a temptation to delay growth in order to reduce pressure. You may consider shrinking your vision, hiding your ideas, or postponing obedience until conditions feel safer. But resistance does not decrease with delay, it intensifies with destiny. Avoidance only prolongs preparation. The future you carry will demand expression, regardless of timing. Suppression does not cancel assignment, it only complicates it. Opposition before manifestation also serves a refining function. It prepares you for visibility. If you cannot withstand resistance in obscurity, you will collapse under scrutiny in prominence. The early pressure is conditioning your endurance. You are learning how to remain grounded while misunderstood, focused while opposed, and faithful while unseen. This training is necessary for sustainability. Those who face future-based opposition often experience identity attacks. Your competence is questioned, your motives are misjudged, your credibility is challenged. This is because future influence requires present stability. You must know who you are before others decide who you should be. Identity clarity protects purpose from distraction. When you understand your assignment, resistance becomes confirmation, not confusion. Another danger at this stage is responding too early. When attacked for unreleased vision, the instinct is to reveal everything, to explain, defend, or prove your potential. But premature exposure can invite unnecessary interference. Wisdom teaches patience. Some things must be incubated in silence until they are strong enough to stand. Not all revelation requires immediate explanation. Opposition also reveals the difference between intention and capacity. Good intentions are common. Capacity is rare. The future you carry demands growth. Resistance highlights areas that need strengthening: discipline, character, wisdom, humility. These are not delays, they are investments. The pressure you face now is shaping the structure you will need later. There is also a relational cost to carrying future impact. Some connections will not survive the transition you represent. Familiar environments may become hostile as you outgrow their limitations. This is not betrayal, it is misalignment. Not everyone is equipped to walk with you into the future you are carrying. Release without resentment. Alignment will come. Ultimately, opposition aimed at your future is proof that your destiny is legitimate. Empty lives are ignored. Meaningless potential is overlooked. But futures that threaten stagnation, expose dysfunction, and introduce transformation are confronted early. The resistance you face is not random, it is responsive. So do not fear the opposition that precedes manifestation. Interpret it correctly. You are not late, you are early. You are not mistaken, you are marked. What you carry is already speaking, even if you have not yet released it. And when the time comes for your future to emerge fully, you will realize this truth. The resistance did not stop you, it prepared you. Wired to build, commissioned for legacy. There is a distinct unrest that lives within those who are dangerously anointed, an inner tension that cannot be satisfied by mere participation. You can attend, observe, support, and even succeed within existing structures, yet something within you remains unsettled. This is because you were not designed merely to belong, you were designed to build. Builders are governed by vision, not convenience, and by responsibility, not routine. This internal drive to build is often misunderstood. Others may label it dissatisfaction, ambition, or rebellion. In truth, it is assignment awareness. You see gaps where others see systems. You sense inefficiencies where others feel comfort. You imagine solutions where others accept limitations. This is not criticism, it is calling. Builders are not impressed by what exists, they are compelled by what is missing. Those wired to build think in terms of structure, sustainability, and succession. They ask questions about longevity rather than popularity, impact rather than appearance. While others focus on immediate results, builders are concerned with foundations. They understand that anything not built properly will eventually collapse. This long-term thinking often places them at odds with cultures driven by speed and surface-level success. Being commissioned to build means you carry a burden for order. Chaos disturbs you. Dysfunction grieves you. Not because you are controlling, but because you are designed to create alignment. Builders have an instinct for governance. They are sensitive to leadership gaps, accountability failures, and vision drift. This sensitivity is not judgment, it is responsibility. However, builders are often resisted in environments that value maintenance over progress. Systems comfortable with repetition feel threatened by innovation. Those who benefit from disorder resist reform. As a result, builders may be marginalized, misunderstood, or even opposed. Yet this resistance is not a sign to retreat. It is a sign that change is necessary. One of the challenges builders face is timing. The urge to construct can be premature if character has not yet matured. Vision without discipline produces frustration. This is why builders often endure long seasons of preparation, learning, observing, serving, and refining. These seasons are not delays, they are blueprints being drawn internally. Before you build publicly, you must be structured privately. Builders are also tested through failure. Not every attempt will succeed. Not every structure will stand. These moments are not disqualifications. They are education. Each failure teaches precision. Each setback develops resilience. Builders who endure learn that collapse is not the end, it is feedback. True builders are not afraid of starting again because they understand process. Being commissioned for legacy means your focus extends beyond your lifetime. You are not satisfied with temporary influence. You want systems that function without your presence, structures that outlive your involvement, and leaders who surpass your capacity. This mindset requires humility. Ego builds monuments. Purpose builds movements. Legacy demands that you empower others rather than control outcomes. Builders also experience loneliness. Vision isolates before it unites. You may see what others cannot yet imagine. This gap can be painful, but solitude sharpens clarity. It forces you to depend on conviction rather than consensus. Over time, those meant to build with you will recognize the vision and align. Until then, endurance is essential. A dangerous anointing to build also attracts responsibility. You cannot afford careless living, inconsistent values, or shallow commitments. What you build will reflect who you are. Integrity becomes structural. Discipline becomes foundational. Your personal life becomes the first system you manage. Builders understand that private disorder produces public collapse. Ultimately, those wired to build are agents of transformation. They do not merely improve existing models, they reimagine them. They do not just occupy space, they create pathways. Their satisfaction does not come from applause, but from alignment. When what was chaotic becomes ordered, when what was broken becomes functional, when what was stagnant begins to grow, that is their reward. So if you feel restless in environments that do not progress, if you are compelled to establish rather than merely attend, understand this truth. You are not difficult. You are designated. You are not resisting authority. You are responding to assignment. You are wired to build because you are commissioned for legacy. And what you are building is not just for now, it is for generations.